Sorry, guys.
Okay.
And look, I don't like to revel in anyone's failure. I don't.
I do. What are you talking about? Of course I'm reveling in the failure of G4TV.
I'm reveling in the failure of Frost because Frost is a really unlikable person. But in general, I don't like seeing people lose their job. I don't.
Okay,
So
good guy,
it says,
Brett.
Nielsen numbers confirmed that Comcast's failed G4TV revival was the lowest watched television network in all of 2022, guys.
Hell yeah, dude. Karmic retribution. You earned this fate.
Of 126 cable networks, it came in 126.
That's wild.
Between the
and
hours,
not even by close margins. Yeah. The one directly above it and then the second one above it had thousands more. Like they were double and triple what they were getting on the average day during like primetime hours. They were getting like around 1,000 at most on cable television.
Let's be fair here. We're a small channel. We are part of a larger network. What makes us different? Well, in general, we're recording up in like an attic studio, and they were literally when they're
working for freaking Comcast.
But not just that. When the studio went back on the market, it was like multi-million-dollar studio worth hundreds of square feet. And the funny part was, it's a multi-million-dollar studio, all to make it look like someone's basement. You could just do that in someone's basement, and
people do that all the time, and they're far more successful. On Twitch.
And here's the thing: like this is something that I think about a lot here. There is an argument to be made that self-made is the way to go on the internet. Like it is harder to come across as real and authentic when it feels like you've been astroturfed.
Well, I'm assuming that's what G4TV was in its original iteration. But then after being acquired and then after being revived in this day and age, you can't revive the same spirit that it had because it's been utterly corporatized and injected with all of this,
even if it was corporate
ESG stuff.
And it was like bros being bros back then. Like that was the general spirit of G4TV, because
camaraderie.
And it was that. And I was telling you guys in the pre-show that it had an air as well that some of it honestly was simping, because they had like two flagship hot chicks. And they seem to be pretty cool.
In the chat, Go Get It says G4TV cost $100,000 a month.
No way.
That doesn't seem like a lot.
That seems very low to me.
Yeah.
Given that they had like 40 employees working on just this project until a lot of them were laid off. That's wild.
They just got the most expensive revenue of nobodies. It's incredible, because I knew of Kasim G because of his YouTube, but I don't know what he's done since. And the Gina Darling person I've only known peripherally. The rest of them, I have no idea who they were. That could be on me. But what it seems that they did is they went the Daily Show route.
Yeah.
Of diversity, hiring people. It's like, oh, they're all from the industry. But it's not as if you got Dr. Disrespect or something, like people that have like name recognition.
But
it's very hard to find someone who's made it. Like, why would somebody who's made it on their own and is thriving on their own come into a corporate environment where they'll have less control and make less money than they're making on their own?
So that you need to like justify that to them, because then you're competing directly with their independent channel and their independent companies.
There could have been better. What I'm saying is like there could have been better B-listers. And I don't want to. And I feel kind of bad saying that.
It's like Rings of Power. Like, who are these people?
I feel bad because a lot of them. I think Kasim G is like genuinely funny, and I like Kevin Pereira a lot. But
maybe not the modern day cucked version of Kevin Pereira.
Even still, I think he's pretty funny.
Clapping like a seal.
No, that's Adam Sessler.
Sexism in
gaming.
That's Adam Sessler.
I think they should have. Yeah, Sessler was the
okay.
Arf. But what they should have done.
I saw another clip where he also was like in a separate stream reiterating all of those points himself and doubling down after the backlash.
Just imagine like how detached you have to be from reality to think that that's what sells on the. Like, I guess it's not the internet. You're thinking that sells on cable television, but it doesn't even sell on cable television. Nobody actually wants that in the world today. Like, everyone knows woke stuff doesn't sell. People who retweet you on Twitter do not spend money on things. They do not. And the other thing about it is like what they should have done. My pitch: rehire Olivia Munn.
There's no way.
Rehire Olivia Munn. Pay her the money. Look, I think they said that they paid Amaranth $30,000 for her ball pit
for a single appearance.
For her single appearance.
And that's so funny that happened after Frost is screaming at the fans that the women on this channel don't exist to be pleasing to your eyes.
But you can't.
And then you bring on a titty streamer.
But they should have brought back Olivia
Munn. The titty streamer, if you can call her that.
But here's my thing. I'm saying don't just bring back Olivia Munn. Recreate all of the old sets and everything, and use Marvel de-aging technology.
It's not organic. Like,
how are
you can't
make
bring
it
back
a weird thing. No,
you can't bring back the
can't.
social dynamic and really just kind of the innocence and fun that existed in the 2000s. I don't even know this from firsthand experience. You guys do.
Yeah.
But like, I can tell looking at old videos of Olivia Munn on G4, there was just a lightheartedness and a willingness to like have jokes made at your expense,
which is not
in a mean-spirited way, but just like camaraderie, like being a real human being.
And well, today I think that would
not hating your fan base.
The funny thing about that is like even like Amaranth doing that is like a version of like, look at me willing to somewhat exploit myself for a large check in a way. But it's like, it's still fake because when it was done before, it was done in a way that was reflective of the culture you were living at the time. That's not the culture on cable that we're living in anymore. That might be the culture on Twitch.
Then you have your delusions about Amaranth shattered when she reveals that she's been secretly married this whole time.
But the thing is,
like,
they brought...
Even that loses its innocence.
They brought like a disgusting chimera version of an already failed network, which is crazy. Yeah. So they didn't even bring the good parts.
Well, this is my other question I wanted to ask. How do you... like? Somebody said like it was like it failed because of Frost, right?
No.
I don't believe that. What Frost. I believe is that it would have failed anyways. It just would have failed slower. How could they have done this in a way that would have worked? I don't think you do it on cable.
They had
obviously
socials. Not.
They were just. I mean, I think that them being on cable wasn't the main like flagship place where they wanted to get viewers.
Yeah,
they wanted to be a real competitor to the people on Twitch that are like it right now. Yep. But again, it's just an antiquated form.
It should have been on Twitch exclusively. Because they're already PG, like it's not as if they're gonna get banned for being woke beyond control. Yeah. So it should have been on Twitch. All that money that got on the set and most of its cast, they should have reduced probably the staff in the beginning by like 70%.
Yeah.
And the expenses of the cameras and the scenery by like 70% as well, and put all that in ads.
Just all ads?
Yes.
Does that work these days?
He is the marketing man extraordinaire.
Okay,
I don't know.
I could give you examples of people. Yeah, absolutely.
Like this it feels like one of the things like when it works, it feels more organic. And I don't know if like if the large ad push maybe a very large forceful ad push at the beginning and then let the work speak for itself in a way. But it's like you said here, this is like me, you, Chris, as project manager, and then Dane is like here basically as our is helping us because Dane has other work to do here. This is a very skeleton crew that we do here because we love what we're doing, but you can do it on less, right? They could have done it on infinitely less money, and oddly enough, it would have felt more organic if you did it with less.
They should have started with like 3 shows. So you just get a couple streamers. Each one does like 3 hours a day or something. Yeah. 5 days a week, and just start that way. Is what I would have done. And
slower and build.
There's so many people that individuals think they're organic. I don't remember what the name of this website is, but there's a website that gives you the ad spend of channels, brands, and individuals. And some of the most popular commentators in the world right now, guys, they weren't organic. They were 100%.
Can you give me an example? That's interesting.
I can't.
You can't?
He can't name drop. Someone in the chat said G4 more like Spirit Airlines.
Hey,
by the way, I gotta tell you, and Tim said this on the show. When I came here to work for this company, I was like, how much have you paid? And he was like, not a cent. And I was like, I don't believe you. And then I was amazed to find that like not a cent. He's incredible. But like, there's some people out there
that are not organic,
millions upon millions.
But it's like maybe organic to me is kind of like I'm like sublimating. Like maybe what I think of as organic is just you found them on the internet and not on Comcast TV. Like it feels more organic when you find them on a platform that's less not mainstream.
They should have prioritized the new way of doing things.
Yes, first.
It's 2022.
Yeah.
Where gaming content is done is Twitch, maybe YouTube as well.
Yeah.
And yes, they were on there, but you can't even go the route of cable again.
Everyone knows that
delusional.
Woke content doesn't really do well on YouTube in the same way. Like not the type of stuff that they're talking. Maybe the reviews would have done fine if you stick to just the reviews. But that rant that she went on talking about
Twitch
sex
is
and
sort of
gaming,
like a haven for insane levels of wokeness,
Yeah,
and they would have been widely accepted
on YouTube,
there.
I think on YouTube it would have struggled. On Twitch it would have done better.
Yeah, but maybe if they had casted like people who are already familiar on that platform.
Yeah. Like what's funny about it is like even like what we do here.
I want to know, like, is Frosk a symptom of G4's problem, or was Frosk G4's main problem?
I mean, I think the problem would already have been there because of Sessler, right?
She's a metaphor.
Yeah, like I think about like what we do here. Like we talk a lot about the broad realms of pop culture, but it's like half pop culture, half culture war, and where they intersect, and that's a unique thing, right? If you have a narrow avenue of focus, meaning gaming, right? Like you're better off sticking to this, like to the material that you're meant to be working with, because as soon as you go off into the culture war, and I'm seeing it happen in other areas, I've seen culture war infest things that I never thought would, like seeing it infest skating broke my heart. When I saw the cult, like people talking about equity in skating, I started like, I wanted to cry because it's like something that I've loved for 25 years, which was essentially one of the last forms, like action sports like that in their infancy were like what punk rock was, right? Like you went places you weren't supposed to go, you did things you weren't supposed to do, cops kicked you out, security guards effed with you, you like people, like it was not culture. It's now a lot of those sports, like skateboarding in it, for instance, is mainstream.
Well, the thing is, like, they will break down every door out there with a battering ram that is their ideology. None of your interests or hobbies are safe, and not even you as an individual are safe, because you as an individual can get targeted.
Banned by the government says, yeah, no, Brett, you're wrong. What am I wrong about? Like I'm interested. Like at least if we're talking about that analogy, I would like to.
Also, Waffle Sensei asked, do you think organic just means like spreading by word of mouth?
Yes, that when I think of it, I think of somebody that you don't find an ad from them. You find them because somebody says, "Look at this video." It's why it's such important to tell people to share your videos.
Organic is no money invested for outreach.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
and you
but
grow
then,
naturally.
like, things spread by word of mouth, like Top Gun Maverick, after having a gigantic ad push. Like that's a thing, and I don't think that it's wrong to invest.
It's not, but.
In marketing something properly.
He says they sportitized skateboarding, which is an art form. You're yes, no, they've turned. I mean, skateboarding is an Olympic sport now, but like he's talking skateboarding, I'm talking rollerblading, which is a far more underground sport still to this very day. Far less mainstream push. I mean, it was very big in the 90s and then crashed and died. Different thing, but you're right. All of these sports and no subculture, whether it's music, some sport you like, none of it is safe. Remember when hockey, when the NHL tweeted like trans rights or trans lives or trans women are women, and then somebody's like, nothing is freaking safe. Literally nothing is safe. So you can't take video games, which were a subculture and unique in the early 2000s, to something that is as mainstream as it is now, and do the same formula and expect it to work.
Dude, and that's what's happening with gaming in general.
Yeah.
And it really hurts. I've been involved with organizing video game tournaments in the past, some of which are now in like the pro tour for the Capcom Pro Tour. And I know it's like a thankless job, and I don't even know how they're doing right now financially with the way that tournaments are right now. I'm not gonna guess either way, good or bad. But what I'm saying is that it had a magic to it. It was all organic. It was people that genuinely loved the thing.
Yeah.
And they were meeting, and like whoever you met there was a friend. because it was someone that you know that was equally or more passionate about this one thing you love than you. And now in this like post-COVID era where everything is I don't know why, but woke people completely 100% have a stranglehold of the management positions of these things. And all these tournaments
started at the HR department and worked its way up.
Because it doesn't require competence. It just requires like being there as a placeholder.
But I don't know how they got in the grassroots ones, because like a lot of the people that are organizing them are not that way. They're like real ass people. And all the tournaments are masked, so that means that only a certain amount of individuals go there. All the commentators are super PG to PG-13 California people that are white as hell, that talk in Ebonics to I don't know, to pander to a crowd that's not their own. It's super weird and super contrived. And
which is why it doesn't grow organically, because it only succeeds at the corporate level.
Dude, they are plummeting in views. Like the old Capcom tournaments that I used to watch were at minimum like 10K, like at the lowest, and like 50 to 100 in concurrent viewers. Now, if they break 3,000, like you got an event. No one cares anymore, and it's sad because
I've seen like Super Smash tournaments do pretty well.
Oh, they're like a thing of their own, and that's some internal like whatever. But I'm telling you, like Street Fighter, Tekken, and things like that, because a lot of those people are kind of snobs and they don't consider Smash a fighting game, which is ridiculous.
What?
It's ridiculous.
Okay.
In the chat, Glenn Longoria says skating isn't an art form; it's an activity. I'm a former skater, and you don't need to make it more because it's not. I actually come closer to that argument than a lot of people, considering I've been doing what I do for 25 years. But if you guys want to talk, this isn't the forum for it. You can send me a message on Instagram, and we can talk about what the nuances of subcultures like skating or music or anything like that, what they mean to us as people. But that's kind of what this is about, right? We've taken things that people were just passionate about and commodified them and turned them into gazillion-dollar industries like the video game industry. And this is just a failed attempt at trying to capitalize on something, because when it got in initially, it was unique, and it's not unique anymore.
I don't think that making money off of something is necessarily going to ruin it.
No.
Like,
what I'm saying is like
it more accessible, which means more people are there to, like, it will bring more eyes to it. Therefore, people who want to ruin it, will see it more often. But
I'm saying, the main that approach to it is just to me, it's less organic.
A couple of things I've seen recently that do seem to have organic support and are like genuinely entertaining are the chess boxing tournament, where like there are these professional chess players that would like also do like boxing tournaments, and whoever wins, I think like 2 out of 3 or something like that, wins their like round. They do like rounds of both chess and boxing. I think that one had a lot of organic support, and then also just the trend of influencer boxing and wrestling in general. And I think that's relatively untouched by woke stuff. Like, I also, just because like these people are nerds who could never fight in a ring, so why would they? Why would they infiltrate that? But like Paul, when Jake and Logan Paul are involved in something, you can't claim that it's equitable and woke and inclusive, because they're obviously also, they're doing crypto scams. Like,
it also inspires a lot of discussion from people in those industries which have large fan bases. Like Joe Rogan will go on long discussion points with various MMA fighters about like the ups and downs, the talents of the Paul brothers and stuff like that, right? So those are whole other subcultures. People that love boxing, people that love MMA. That's like, I would prefer to be part of the cultures that don't care much for wokeness, but unfortunately,
tell us about it, Hava Owens. Yes, by the way,
right? Yeah,
viewer who's in that business.
Somebody says celebrity banned by the government says celebrity MMA will be next, and then we'll have the Coliseum style events. Make a revival watch. Yeah, probably.
Dude, it's so disappointing because you guys know me. Like, I'm a gamer, but I'm also not a cringe lord. I'm not one of those people that are like, this is an art form or whatever. I thought that Street Fighter, back in the day, back in Street Fighter 4, was the closest thing that competitive games got to like an Olympic sport, where multiple countries were really good.
Yeah.
And really good in super different ways.
Yeah.
And
that's the same argument we make in skating.
Right.
Like that you can be, somebody can be very good at stunt skating, meaning doing just big tricks. Another person can be very good at tech skating, which is just switch ups on rails and things like that. I am also, oddly enough, I like pushed back on that guy earlier, but I was the guy who would always push back on the nerds who were like, it's an art form. I'm like, you sound self-important, you sound dorky, but on a certain level, I'm also still part of the community, so I have to like stand up for it.
Like,
so I'm
it's
like,
an art form.
Like, I was like, there's aspects of it that are so nuanced and so detailed that it's not just an activity past that. But is it art? I'm not dorky enough to claim that.
But
for the gaming
depends
world,
on the day.
I don't even know if these people infiltrating it like to play video games.
Mary,
like,
let me tell you,
I'm
so many
lost.
of the people that are now community managers, it's just because they're dating people in the industry, and their
like
knowledge
Zoe
of
Quinn.
their it's Zoe Quinn's of the world.
We'll never shut up about Gamergate.
Their knowledge of the things that they're covering is so superficial and low level that it's like they're communicating that understanding of it on the major platforms that it's not compelling at all, and it's either that or people that are browbeating you, sorry, because of their politics while you're watching a game.
In the end, maybe the best decision here is just like, if you're gonna relaunch a multi-gazillion-dollar network, don't tell a bunch of people they're awful.
Or don't.
Just don't tell.
Just cut it off and don't.
Don't tell people they're awful.
Yeah.
I mean, times have changed. You need to accept that. And if you're going to try to fight against it anyway, at least don't do it in an obnoxious way that actively antagonizes the people watching. It's as simple as that. I hope that, the failure of G4TV and the tragic example of Frosk will like teach these people a lesson for the future, but they never like express an interest in making something. Thank you.
Hold on.
Whoa. Hey, okay. There we go. This is a new thing.
Yes. And like, look, this channel is not super big. We are not the biggest YouTube channel in the world. We're having a lot of fun, but guess what? We're never going to tell you that you're an awful person.
I mean, I might.
Dane might. I'm not going to tell you that you're an awful person.
I might. Behave.
Thank you.
It's because I live in chat.
Cultural relativist. I'll just be like, maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't know.
Maybe they're bots.
Maybe they're bots. I don't know.
I am the chat manifested in the show. So that's why I have the right.
Is that a picture of Frosk looking good as always? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, see, there's a lot of overlap.
It sucks because, like, she could try, I think that she could try to look.
I don't even want to get it on that. I've been thinking a lot about, because I've hated on people for sometimes I feel like unfounded reasons. Even this guy, who's the guy I always hate on? Data Kim.
What?
Oh, Pete Davidson?
Pete Davidson. And I've met people that know him personally, like, he's actually pretty cool. And I'm like,
Pete Davidson?
Yeah. And I'm like, well, if this person says it, I feel like he should be. But then he does some things in the press, and I'm like, well, this guy's
the tattoo thing is just like,
yeah. That's what got me. That was
no. You're done.
You're defiling your body for a
You're not
cell
that guy,
phone.
pal.
This is
You're
weird.
not that guy.
I'm not a fan of, like, I probably have. I'm sure people could find examples of me on the channel making fun of people for their looks, but I'm not a fan of.
Yeah. So
I avoid that.
I kind of want to transition off that energy of she's weird looking too.
Well, I just think she's the one talking about people's looks.
Yeah.
People in the chat for G4TV are not the people talking about looks. She brought it up in order to antagonize them. So I'm allowed to comment on the fact that she intentionally tries to look bad on purpose.
And I guess when I first saw that, the first thing it made me think of was Anna Kasparian and the guess what? I'm better than you.
Oh my god!
That's
Get off the stage!
It had major. I'm better than you.
I'll never forget her screeching "Get off the stage" at Alex Jones
in the chat.
I'll never forget the "I'm better than you."
Yeah,
that was a day.
Like I'm better than you. Like, it's like, did I ever told you the story that, like,
I studied poli-sci. I know everything.
In Minnesota, like where I lived in Minnesota, there was like a realtor who had bus bench ads, and he looked just like Cenk Uygur. And that's not the story. The story is, and there was a bus stop bandit who would go around and draw mustaches on his face, and only on his face.
I need to ask a favor.
That's funny.
My cousin calls him Cenk Yogurt. But like completely,
yogurt?
like he just can't pronounce Uyghur for the life of him, and I think it's super cute. Can we
Hassan Picker?
Similar to how we do Ratatouille?
Ratatouille, yes.
I want to normalize Cenk Yogurt.
If he ever comes up in conversation again.
For the many times he comes up in our discussions on a daily basis when I'm thinking about Cenk Yogurt.
Cenk Yogurt.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.